welcome back to Tales from the Kitchen Garden, and a little bit of a different start this time. So I promised you that I would keep you up to date on how we go with pigs, and it is day one. These guys have just arrived. It's Saturday, I can't remember what the date is, but they were 8 weeks old yesterday, and they've settled in really nice. They're just nice and quiet. We're going to do a separate video. I don't know, weighing about, we think about 15-20 kilos. They were quite easy to lift. We transported them in the back of the car, typical of us. Anyway, they're settling right in. You can see Grace is just keeping them company, and we're just giving them some quiet time whilst I get on with some jobs. I'm going to go and show you what Stephen's getting on with in the orchard. Got a lot of plans for in there at the moment, a lot of changes. Now it's one of the windiest days that we've had so far. We've got gusts of wind. It's been on all day. It's about, I think, about 54 mile an hour at the moment. So we've lost a few things, and it was interesting journey going to get the pigs because there was just debris all over the place. We had to stop the car at one point to get out and move 4 or 5 wheelie bins that had blown off some farm track into the middle of the road. Would have been a bit of a serious accident if somebody had come over the hill and whacked into those. But anyway, it's not cold, just windy, and it's blue skies. So while we've got that, we're getting on. But when I'm around showing you what Stephen's up to, you might not be able to hear me too well, so bear with me on that. But I've also got a lot of work that tidying up basically to get done. So typical January jobs. I'm going to go in the greenhouse and get tidied up in there, get rid of all of the old stuff from last year. And then, dare I say, there's another job for Stephen to start doing in there, which is we're going to be planting into the ground or into raised beds in the greenhouse at the back this year. So instead of using all of the what they call plant pots, we're going to be doing it into the ground itself. But he'll probably build up using scaffy boards or bricks and make raised beds that way first. But I maybe won't mention that until after he's finished the current job that he's doing. And then the pigs, and we've already got poo in the feeder, and the little water bucket that we popped down has been used as a toy. Now, we're not naive to pigs. We do know that they'll pick things up and throw them around, but generally, with our last ones, they didn't used to turn the water bucket over until they were older, when they used to rub against it. But yeah, we need to get a water bucket that is attached to something and is not going to be easily used as a toy. I'm going to end up getting nothing done. Well, it turned out that it was a little bit too windy, so I thought I'd give you a quick voiceover on this bit. I popped outside after checking on the pigs on this particular weekend to see how Stephen was getting on with the fence. The idea of the fence is privacy and security, and also to keep the fox out because it's quite a high fence. Now, when I went out, he was busy trying to take down one of the trees that we're having to take down. There's a few that we're going to sacrifice for the bigger picture, but we will be replanting those in other places on the Smallholding. So as you can see, the kids are helping. Grace is coming along with the lawnmower, so we're going to fill that up and take that round, because this is just on the outside of our property here. But all in all, it was safely done and lots of fun. And the next day we headed off to the garden centre. So let me show you what that looks like for us. weather's taken a turn, so I want to get as much done this weekend as I can, because during the week it's just been such a busy week at the moment. We've had birthdays and I've been back to the office, and it's just been a really crazy week. I've got nothing else done except surviving this week. So what I need to get done now, this place needs a good tidy up outside. As I mentioned, I've got a huge long list, and I want to get ready for spring. I want to get ready to get our plants into the ground. I need to get those seeds sown first, but I'm just looking outside and it is blowing a hoolie at the moment. It's just awful. You probably can hear it in the background. It's creaking all around me. Anyway, what better time than to get some seeds in? So let's get going. I'll tell you what happens. Sometimes I'll get into March and I'll get a real panic on that I'm so far behind, because I think, oh, we don't want to do things too soon, etc, etc, and all of a sudden I'll get a right panic on. Anyway, let me show you. I'm going to do a separate seeds sowing video, but let me show you what I'm getting in at the moment whilst it's miserable outside and everything's just looking bleh. Well, it's still miserable out there, but I've got those seeds sown that I've just shown you, and I'm going to get some. I've got some broad beans and some peas that I want to get into, and I would like to. I've got some nasturtiums, calendula, and some other bits and pieces, but I think I'm actually going to sow those direct. That worked really well last year, so we'll see. I'm not doing those just at the minute, but I do need to get the peas and the broad beans in. I also want to have a look in the polytunnel. I was going to say clean it out, but I don't know if I'm going to commit to that today. But we definitely need to look in to see what we're getting on with, because I don't really fancy working outside in this. Well, I'm not sure if that's picked up on camera, but the weather is just the pits. So I'm going to go and make some nice hot soup for everybody. We've got leeks and potatoes, so it sounds like leek and potato soup. Just before we go in, I've brought the peas and the broad beans in here. Give them a water. The compost is not accepting. It's not very moisture retaining for some reason. Probably should have watered it before I sowed them, and I've watered the tomatoes in here, which will go inside, but just for now I'm going to leave them in until this all gets absorbed, and then I'll probably give the broad beans and peas another water and they will stay in the greenhouse, but the tomatoes will head in with me. And the leeks, let me just give you a quick update on the leeks before. Oh, you see the sun's out now. This is just crazy. So the Musselburgh are looking fantastic, and we're getting one or two of the other varieties, but the Bleu de Soleils, so maybe they're just slower at coming through. Right, let's go in and get something to eat. The last of the leeks that I harvested that are quite small, but these will be absolutely fine. You want the equivalent of 2 leeks, so of 2 decent sized leeks, an onion and 2 reasonably sized potatoes. So I've just been to stores and I've got these because I'm going to be making more than just this soup. Leeks are swines for hiding the dirt, so I've washed these twice, chopped them up and then washed them. There'll be some in there still, but a little dirt never hurt. All clean dirt, as I say, but yeah, you don't want too much because you don't want them tasting too earthy. All I've done is put the leek tops separate, which I will chop and wash separately, and I'm going to keep those in my stock bag in my freezer. So what next time I make stock, I'll pull those out. And these are just the ends and the bits that are too far gone, and they're going to go back into the compost. So we have our potatoes, onions and leeks all chopped up. I didn't keep the onion skins because I've got the leeks for the flavour for the next lot of stock that I make. Otherwise I just end up with thousands of onion skins. The potatoes I don't worry about chopping too thinly, or peeling too thinly, because I'll boil this up and give this back to the animals now. And obviously that is going to the compost. So you literally want to get some oil in a pan, get these cooking down, add in 1 litre of stock, and the essential ingredient for leek and potato soup for me, apart from this, is pepper. So I'm going to grind some pepper. White pepper is fantastic in this as well. in the pot with a litre of stock, and we will season it towards the end. I'm going to leave that for 20 odd minutes now until the potatoes are tender, and then we'll have some lovely soup. I've also used my stick blender, which hasn't got the end on because I've just washed it, to zuzz this up. Still a bit of a leaf there, but that is the end product. I'm going to now put some pepper, ground up black pepper on this, add a bit of white pepper and salt to taste, but that is leek and potato soup. Do hope that you try that soup. It's absolutely delicious, a firm staple here on the Smallholding. But for now, guys, thank you for spending some of the weekend with me. See what we've got going on in the kitchen garden, and here's Rodney enjoying some snowdrops. Take care.